Hello, users. Welcome back. We are here with another episode of Creature Comforts, and I was a teenage exocolonist. Last time we hit puberty, and thought we were having a rough go of it, only to turn out that the new, glowing, sweet, and awesome-tasting beans that our parents had been growing, had a mildly emotional effect on kids, especially teenagers. So I imagine we're going to run into a food problem real quick. So I think we're going to spend some time this episode trying to explore. I plan to go late today, because I want to see if we can't finish today. We've been getting less stuff to do each month, and I don't know if that's going to change or what. I know technically we have 6 years left. We're only on year 4, but we'll see what happens here. So, without further ado, let me switch over to the game. Oh, you know what would help? Launch the game. That would be useful. And then I can switch over to the game. Here we go. Oh, hey, Culinary. Sorry, I was prepping some other stuff out here. I didn't see you say hello while we were getting ready. So let me give Culinary Disaster a shout out. Hope you're having a good weekend. Alright. We need to rest. Hey, Kia. I'm gonna give my lovely life bond, Kia, a shout out. You nestle in the cushions, close your eyes, and listen to music. You have an archive of over 100 years of music to choose from, but still, you wonder what new songs they're writing these days, 10 million light years away on Earth. The only new music you've heard is when the adults have come up with the new space change. Oh, we've read this one. Alright. Culinary, ooh. Yeah, definitely relax. I hope you feel better. I was actually having some stomach stuff yesterday. So much has happened in the last month since the monster attack during Glow. The idea of this planet as a peaceful utopia has shattered. The security squads are training new members and keeping close watch on the gates now. They're reinforcing the walls, even installing a few robotic turrets. In class, you have drills on what to do if the colony is attacked again, and all the excitement. You forgot today was your birthday! Your parents haven't forgotten. They wake you up with enthusiastic shouts of surprise. Wait, hold on. This is the wrong save. This is 1-1. Hold on. Ha 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 ha. I'm like, what is going on here? We are not going that far back. There we go. And we have a bunch of energy. Let's just talk to folks and let's go explore. Oh right, everybody aged up. We even talked to them in their new age states. Tangent looks up from her holopalm, blinking as her eyes refocus on the middle distance, and then on you. Her previous long hair is gone, buzzed close to her scalp. You almost didn't recognize her when you first saw her. You wonder if it was caused by a lab accident or something. Hello, Solane, she says, almost cagey. Do you need something? No, I just came by to say hello. The faintest hit of relief passes along Tange's face. You get the impression that not pressing her on her personal appearance was a wise choice. Oh, well, hello then, Tange replies. She raised her hand as if to push her hair out of her face, but stops when she realizes what she's doing. I've done that. I'm rather busy at the moment, actually, so if you don't mind, you can take a hint. Let's go talk to our likely love interest, Nem. You spot Nem. Aw, look at her. She got a little roughed up shirt. That's great. You spot Nem halfway up a garrison watchtower. Her legs wrapped around the scaffolding as she cranes over the fence to look through a pair of holoculars. You clear your throat, and she peers down at you and waves. Solane! Let's see. She's a teenager now. Solane, come up here. I want to ask you something. You clamber easily up the scaffolding. Nem gives you a high five. Here, look at these, Nem says, shoving the holoculars in your hands. You raise them to your eyes and look where she's pointing. You don't see anything except for undifferentiated wilderness. Nem sighs physically, moves up your head until you spot a dark humanoid shape moving through the towering fungal forest. See him? Nem says. It's Dis. I swear it is. He's always just sneaking out over the walls. So what? Nem stares at you. So what? He repeats, I guess. He's gonna get in trouble. Only if you tell on him. Well, yeah, Nem sputters, but someone should. The adults say we're not supposed to go outside the colony unless it's on an expedition, Nem says, taking the binoculars back and looping them around her neck. And Dis just goes wherever he wants. What if he gets hurt? What if he dies? She wrinkles her nose. What if he picks up a weird alien disease and comes back with 3 heads? Nem scratches her cheek, where acne made her skin dry and sore looking. Aw. Ow. She mutters, bit flakes off. I just don't know what to do about it. What do you think? We should go after him. Huh. She's had a change. I might reload this save. Nem stares at you like you've turned green. What? She exclaimed. Outside the colony? By ourselves? No way. It'd be fun. Nope, not even a little bit. No one would notice we're gone. Nope. Nobody. Nope. Nem sing songs. Oh, nope. Nobody. Nope. Nem punches you lightly in the arm. International House of Nope, dude. We're gonna die a little if we go out there. Colony's got rules for a reason, Nem says, staring off in the wilderness. Wow, that's a change from her as a kid. If we do our own thing and don't care about the rules, we're all gonna be toast. Kinda like a sports ball team. We're all doing different stuff, but we all gotta play by the same rules so we can get as many points as we can. Anemone, Solane! You look down at the ground where a passing colonist is waving up at you. You two get down from there, it's not safe. Oh, okay, sorry, I'm on watch, Nem shouts back, indicating her binoculars. Shoots you a smile. I guess we should get inside the watchtower, huh? You both climb the rest of the way to the guard platform. Nem heaves herself over the edge and reaches down to help you up, and you notice that her hands are all banged up and scabbed over blue scales. Probably from scampering all over the place she does. She notices you looking, laughs awkwardly, runs her hand through her fluffy hair. Maybe if I get beat up enough, I'll have so many scales I won't have no more acne, she jokes. Learned. More? Interesting. What does more mean? What did we learn? I mean, we're doing okay on friendship. Do I really want to reload that? I don't really care about the rebellion versus non-rebellion. Let's just to see. Hey, unstable deuce. Yep. So what? Only if you tell on him. Blah, blah, blah. Blah, blah. Ah, okay, unstable deuce. No worries. I appreciate you stopping by regardless. Alright, convince him to stay inside. Yeah, right, I tried that. He told me to F off, she says. And I talked to Tange, but I guess they're not talking either. I don't know what's up with that. The colony's got... Okay, same. Oh, interesting. We didn't learn more from that one. We'll give that another shot. I just want to see what gives her friendship. Is she becoming, like, way into the colony rules? Again, this is a big shift for her. So what? Only if you tell on him. I can't do that. I'm the strongest kids in the colony. I gotta protect all the other kids. Alright, the rest that's the same. Interesting. Alright, let's see what just happens if we say, oh no! He's not supposed to do that. Right? Nem explains. He's gonna get in trouble. The adults say we're not supposed to go outside. I still don't like that voice. The adults say we're not supposed to go outside in the colony unless it's on expedition, Nem says, taking the holoculars back and looping them around her neck. And Dis just goes wherever he wants. What if he gets hurt? What if he dies? Alright, that's the same thing here. Oh, okay. So it is... Alright. And then that one was what we chose before. Oh, interesting. So that thing that we learned was kept... Hey, Robot Spacer! How you doing, buddy? We're doing some save scumming. If you are not aware of Robot Spacer, they are he is a rad variety streamer. All-around cool person, fellow lover of adventure games, an all-around good person you should check out. Oh, thank you so much for the subscription, Robot Spacer. I just noticed that. I will say, you do not have to worry about that. I do appreciate it. These streams are, as Mary Kish says, free 99. But it is appreciated. I'm going to set a goal. I need to remember to do that. I'll do that after the stream. I am going to set a goal this month, and if I hit the goal, I'm going to get some more animations for my model. I don't know what, but I'll get some. Alright. Yep, so what? Only if you tell on him. Whoop. No, I didn't. We go talk to her still? Yes, okay. We should go after him. Okay. Can't talk to Dis. Can't talk to Dad. Can't talk to Cal. Can't talk to her. Alright. Not a load. Nothing bad happened. I just wanted to see what the other options were for Nem. Nem's had a kind of change of personality a little bit as she grew up. She seems to be for sticking to rules now. Alright, we've kind of finished one of the areas. Let's look at the map. How do we get to... Valley of Vertigo. How do we get to the Valley of Vertigo? Trying to see if there's details on this. Alright, well, let's explore. Whoop. Phone, you go on silent. What's the difference between these two? All events have spawned. It seems like the same thing. I don't understand. Can we just go back to the same place? Googling. I won't go. Let's explore nearby. Let's explore nearby. Utopia is working near the gates. This area has been deemed safe enough for kids to go for a hike. So long as you're back before dark and never go out during glow. There ain't a lot to see out there, she says. A logging camp, a few fields, some nice lookouts. Keep your eyes peeled for useful things. Oop. There was a mushwood, like that there mushwood log. She points to a light, sturdy piece of wood by the side of the road. Lumber carrier must have dropped it. It's fairly safe out there, but that doesn't mean it's totally safe. Your caution. Don't go too far. And if you see anything what scares you, run like heck and make a ton of noise. She tightens the straps of your backpack. What you hoping to see out there, sweets? Stuff to collect. Utopia laughs. Take nothing but photos, leave nothing but footprints, she teases. Suppose it's different on a brand new planet like this one, she says. We actually do need samples of basically everything, especially stuff what might be edible. Slaps you on the back. Things regrow pretty wild out there, she adds. You pick the place clean, give it a year. Bet it'll look like you're never there at all. Aha. Turn down the sound, that's pretty loud. Where's the map? Map. I guess we can go to the colony outskirts then. That's new. Spot a suspiciously regular mound of spark snow. Maybe something is buried underneath. Could be dangerous though. Poke it with stick! You cautiously break off a branch and prod the suspicious mound, watching closely for signs of movement. Nothing. You poke further and discover it's in fact a pile of snow. Nothing more. Alright. We got 2 points for it. I'll take it. You let your mind wander as you're walking and bumble straight into a field of gelatinous blob grass. Oops. Totally transparent. The sticky fronds are hard to see, but even harder to ignore, especially once you start glomming onto your boots, slowing you down. Like trudging through thick mud. Definitely decide to keep going, paying close attention to the visible signs of this blob grass field. And there aren't many, just an absence of other vegetation. 35? We can do 35. Probably shouldn't have done that, but that's fine. Wow, that's a good card. Heck yeah. There it is. You can hop along from that rock to that fallen log, then climb over those old pieces of surveying equipment. You got through the villainous blob grass. You spent a bunch of time on it though, and takes some balancing. Tiring. You're minding your own business when you stumble into... There's something here. Something invisible that makes the hairs on your arms stand on end. Like an electric aura. As you walk forward, it begins to feel like something nipping at your ankles, but when you look down, there's nothing there. You back away, the sense stops. You move forward, oh, it's worse. The feeling is like tiny electric bites, and it's growing more intense. Kind of microscopic gnats? An electric field of some sort? It hurts, but maybe you can find a way to avoid it and get through this area. Yes. Well, 9. Yeah. Hmm. 5. Anything better we can do here? Nope, that's fine. By trial and error and little intuition, you find a route through whatever it is. The shock seems strongest near some low-lying fractal palms. You hear a humming from the palms and decide it must be some kind of natural electric field. Maybe to ward off animals, like you? Much wood. You stop for lunch, eating an earth treat grown from your own greenhouse. A watermelon. Nice and sweet, like a more solid potato pod. You munch away, spitting out the seeds. Let's relax. Let's see if we can get some stress out. Yeah! That's helpful. You sit back and enjoy your midday rest. Beautiful surrounding. Planet is full of all sorts of bugs. Little wrigglers, hopping beetles, shining creepers, and snaily things. Oh my. You crouch to the long grasses and explore a square meter in great detail. There's so much to see. You don't know what these things are. They might even have names yet. Let's just watch. You stare with big eyes at the wonders of the natural world. Hell yeah, we do. What is our perception? How's our perception doing? Pretty darn good. We're about to get a new trait. Ooh, hello, friend. There in the clearing, the most majestic creature you've ever seen. Like a unicorn from your dad's storybook, but with leathery reptile skin that shines the light when it hits it. It's moving so softly, like it doesn't even disturb the ground. It could be dangerous, but you want to see what it does. Let's be as quiet as possible. Oop. And then, let's just get rid of you. Get rid of the stress. As you settle in to watch it from behind the strand of mush trees, the Unisaur looks up towards you. Startled by your movement, you try to hold your breath perfectly still and quiet your breathing. After a tense moment, it goes back to its business. First, sniffs out a good tree and rubs the scent glands around its neck, in its neck against it thoroughly. Then it pees, like a crystal waterfall, on a rock. Everything it does seems magical. Ooh, more points. Ooh, animal points, heck yeah. I want to get animals up. Next, it sharpens its horn on a giant rock, or on against a rock, which is scored with marks from having done this before. Must be its favorite sharpening rock. You notice a bulge in its stomach. It must have had a huge meal recently, or it's pregnant. Pregante. Ooh, more stress reduction. Eventually, it curls up for a nap. You quietly sneak away. This was so wonderful. Rotumna is a magical place. Well, I like that. Hey, Dis. What are you doing here, buddy? The second sun is beginning to set, and you're plenty of route back to the gates when you spot Dis in the distance. He waves you over. Hey, Solane, he says gloomily. Dies. I wish we didn't have to go home. I wish we could stay out here forever. Kevin. Hey, buddy. Yes, if that's really what you want. Kevin is a member of Britt K. Cayley's community, a friend, and the one that does all of the casting for the voiceovers that we do. And he has decided to use the red linking book, which means he gets timed out for 10 minutes. Yeah, me too. What if we didn't go home today? I mean, what if we stayed out in camp tonight? I brought a tent, just in case, and a perimeter sensor, and I found a spot near the depot. Nah, we'd get in trouble. Yeah, maybe you're right. I'll see you back at the colony. I have something to do first. You head back to the depot. You wonder if Dis is going to try to camp out alone, if he'll be okay without you. We're going to keep exploring. We've got other things. Ooh, I see a friend. I see multiple friends. I want to go meet the friends. Where's my mouse? There's my mouse. Popeyes, usually docile little creatures. They don't even come up to knee height. They eat grass and hop away when you come near, but something has riled this group up. You see them fighting each other, getting in close, and then rolling onto their backs and kicking with their big foot, hunting each other up to 2 meters away. It's neat behavior, so you sit and watch, until you suddenly realize you're surrounded. They've stopped fighting with each other and are all staring at you. Defend yourself! Yeah. Toughness. Animals. Hey, we got the animal thing. The cute critters kick you, but you kick back. You send them scurrying off to pick on smaller creatures than you. You perk. We still haven't found pets. I would like to find a pet. Are you a pet? You spot a group of hop-eyes playing in a clearing. Let you get pretty close to watching them chatter to each other and rub noses. They're all friends, just like people. Hop away if you get too close. 6. The Alpeyes are wary at first, but you crouch down and copy their cute little squeaking noise. You bounce towards them, and amazingly, they don't hop away. You play with the Hop-Eyes for a few minutes more before moving on. You little guys. Nope, we're getting stressed. You leave the path and sneak through a strand of mush trees to one of the little sawmills dotting this area. It's a small but busy operation. 3 people feeding mush tree logs into some kind of machine while a 4th one directs 4-legged robot with a plasma sawn. Lecture them about clear cutting. I don't really need any of these cards. One of the loggers takes off her helmet and eye protection. Oh, it's Utopia. You're about to get a counter lecture. This colony needs to expand somewhere, she drawls. Clearing the land like this leaves more room for farming and helps us see if anything's coming out of the forest at us. Those are good points. Alright. Last spot. The muck hides interesting bugs and other treasure for those willing to put their hands down the right holes. Are you? Yeah, peek inside. Looks dark. Tuck your hands down enough holes to know this. This one's probably safe. You can't hear anything ruffling around in there. Put your hand in there! Hey, we actually got something. Sweet, literally. This hole is full of sugar bugs. These palm-sized balls of squish exude sweet syrup when you tickle them. You fill a bottle with it and let them go. Could be worth a few kudos in Auntie Seden's kitchen. Too worn out, or go home. So we should get a perk from perception. It's your birthday. You wake up from a night of blissfully peaceful dreams. No nightmares, no premonitions, just a pleasant feeling of contentment. You stretch your arms over your head, blinking in a watery, quiet sunlight that seeps through a porthole window. Things are always changing on Vertumna. You can't help feel like things are changing for you, too. Not just your body, but your mind, your emotions, your future. 14's gonna be a year. Your parents have been working around the clock since the last attack, trying to get the fields right again in time for this year's planting. Spark snow has already started falling, and every day they come home complaining about having to clear it. I asked you to ping them when you're awake so you can share a birthday breakfast in your quarters instead of sitting shoulder to shoulder with everyone else during breakfast service in the canteen. You fire them a message and lie back in your bunk, watching dust motes float lazily in the light. After the minute, I asked you to ping them while you're awake so you can share the birthday breakfast in your quarters instead of sitting shoulder to shoulder with everyone else during breakfast. Okay. It's Auntie Seden! She sweeps in your room in a bustle of skirts and shawls and sits down beside you on your bunk. Oh, look at you, she says. Happy birthday, beautiful. 14 years old. She leans in, gives you a motherly kiss on the forehead. It's been years since she took care of you in the children's creche, but all the kids still call her Auntie and think of her as a close relative. Her sweet baking bread smell is as comforting as it ever was. She sits back and takes one of your hands, both of hers. Solane, ever since I held you in my arms as a baby, I knew you were so special, so important. You're becoming a young man, and I want you to know I will always, always be here for you, just like your mom and dad. Aww. Yeah, thank that nice lady. She smiles and tucks an unruly lock of your hair behind your ear. I guess you're old enough to call me Aunt Anne now. Or if you like, even just Anne. Now come on in here, she says. Give us a great big hug. You hug her, enveloping yourself in the warm and familiar softness of her. Over her shoulder, you see Nem standing in the doorway. Well, her hair, anyway. She's been growing it out, and there's no hiding it behind a corner. She skips into your corners. Happy birthday, bud. Still no voice for her. She says, bouncing on your bunk. Way to get older. Enjoy being 2 years older than me for a few months. I thought you were on your way to medbay, and Anne tells her, and Nem shrugs. Anne turns to you. Annie is supposed to get her menstruation cessation implant today. Blah. Mom! Nem hollers. Gross! Solane doesn't want to hear about my period. Anne smiles finely at her daughter. It's nothing to be ashamed of, Annie. Getting your period is a beautiful thing. It reminds us that we have the ability to make life. It's a sign you're growing up and becoming an adult and ready to take on the responsibility of taking care of that life. Huh. Hmm. 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 Nem wrinkles her nose and throws herself on your bed. I'm never making life. Pass. Oh, oh, oh. We're gonna go with this. Right? She's always like this. You think this is bad? When I got my period, she made a cake with a red gooey center. Oh boy. That said, welcome to Woombenhood. She rolls her eyes. It's bad enough that I, like, shot up overnight and got boobs and want to cry all the time. Just go around telling everybody. I'm gonna reload. I want to see what happens. Oh no, if we reload, we have to do the whole thing over again. Alright. We're gonna go with that. Your parents finally arrive, still damp from the fields and bringing the smell of crisp, tangy snow from their clothes. Oh look, birthday visitors, your dad explains. And are you staying for breakfast? Anne reaches into her bag and brings out a stack of stiffins. No, thank you. But I brought your order with me from the kitchen, seeing as I was stopping by. She pats her hand one more time. Happy birthday again, Solane. You'll always be my baby, even when you're all grown up. Your mom shakes her head as Anne and Nem leave. Oh, Anne, she still laughs. Sentimental to the core. She starts laying out the cutlery for breakfast. But I don't know how the colony would manage without her in the children's creche, she says, points a fork at you. Family is more than people that birthed you, Solane. Don't you forget it. Yes. Family are those who care for you. Blood don't mean shit. Alright, we're gonna really quickly see what happens if we reload. First. Post flirt. Now I just want to see, I want to take apart how this game ticks. I just want to see what happens, so. Does this bring us back to the beginning of the month? Oh, just the last item. Okay. Yeah. Peek inside. Uh-huh. Look closer. Uh-huh. Put your hand in there. Uh-huh. Got food. Uh-huh. Uh-huh. Thank you, antecedent. Uh-huh. 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 Maybe one day, the two of us. Nem flushes the same color as her hair. Oh, no off, she mutters, scratching her neck. Don't be weird in front of my mom, Solane. Nem does look different. In a good way. Or grown up. You tell her that her hair is pretty. She rolls her eyes. I just forgot to cut it, okay? She says, avoiding your gaze. We're gonna keep that one because it's adorable. Your parents finally arrive, still damp from the fields. Okay, yep, same. Alright, I like that. That's hilarious. We do have to rest this month because we are tired. We definitely need to get food. You entertain yourself by throwing snowballs down at the people from your hideaway on the top of the wall. A lot of fun to watch them whip around, uncertain where snowballs are coming from. You hope your laughter doesn't give it away. We'll get rid of that one. Still nothing here. I think we still need food. We're gonna... Blue colonist needs food badly. Those of you that get that joke know that I appreciate you. So how do we get to the Valley of Vertigo? I feel like we've been to the Prosaic Plains. Hey! It's Ataraxy? Thank you for the follow. The Valley of Vertigo is a low-lying trench to the east that's dense with pollen-producing trees. There's a wide variety of edible food there. Yeah, I want to go there. How do we get there? We got to start working in the food. Biology 20 or... We don't have enough for biology. We can go start training biology. Right? Reasoning. Biology. How close are we on biology? 2 more. Okay, we can do that. Is there anything else that... These are all good. These are not. We need to maximize... Alright. Look at my notes if there's anything that I'm forgetting here. No one has a birthday this month that I know of except for us. Deliver supplies gives us what? Organizing, perception, and friendship of Mars. Alright, let's work on biology. That's fine. Been a hard while since you've been to life sciences class. Hey Crimson, when Dark Tide comes out, we definitely should play. Yeah, I'll think about it. I'm waiting to see what happens with that game because 40k games have a very big hit or miss. We already talked about this before. The fact that it's just more Imperials kind of dulls my excitement for it a bit. But I did like Vermintide a lot. So yeah, I will hit you up once we hit that point. It's been a while since you've been to life sciences class. You wonder who they got to teach it after Professor Hal died? He was the teacher back on the ship. Who could possibly replace him? You take your seat in the classroom. There's no teacher here yet. You and the other students wait, exchanging awkward glances as time passes. Eventually, Chief Engineer Instance breezes through the door. She's accompanied by Tange, who takes a seat beside you, barely giving you a second look. Look who showed up, Instance snaps with a sinking feeling. You know she's talking about you. Solane, can you even tell me what life sciences entails? Tange looks at the corner of her eye, trying not to smirk. Biochem, medicine, ecology, geology. You easily rattle off the subject name. Instance doesn't look pleased, but she doesn't look disappointed either. That's about as good as you can ever get from her, honestly, so you count that as a win. Tange stops you on the way to class. Solane, were you heading to life sciences? No. Excuse me. Solane, were you heading to life sciences? Good. I could use your help with something, actually. I'm working with Chief Engineer Instance in the biolab. You give me a hand with it, I'm sure she'll give you credit for the class. Of course I'll help. Honestly, admits Dan, we just need somebody to label petri dishes and move them from the cooler to a different machines. A hop eye could do it. Instance staring, unfocused at her hollow eye, processes the results of the scans. Tange goes and stands beside her, pulling up the scan on her own holopalm. They confer quietly while you wait. Sounds like they're studying the shimmer. Mysterious illness. Ooh, good. I'm glad we did this. Your colonists get during pollen every year, including your dad. Hey! Thank you, Flashlight. I greatly appreciate it. Instant looks up at you as if noticing your existence. Ah, Solane, she says. We've been studying samples from some of the colonists who get sick during pollen, including your dad. Some of the stuff in his lungs, it's some kind of fungus. We think shimmer is a form of reproduction, Ange explained. It's like a fungus trying to turn us into more fungus like it. It's really neat, actually. Yeah, neat. You spend the rest of the week helping them study the illness. Mostly this involves following instructions and doing as Tange loves to repeat. Jobs a hot eye could do. Nothing beats a hand-on experience, though. This would be easier if we had an actual sample of the fungus, Instant remarks. They're working with some biological samples. Fancy word for snot. But according to them, the fungus is all mixed with human cells. Instance has to spend a lot of time in vert space trying to disconnect the two models. Where could I find a sample? Ah, there we go. Our most useful reports have been from the foragers returning from the Valley of Vertigo. Where the pollen is thick all year. Might be a good place to start. Right? Well. A boop. A boop. Boop. You know what? We'll keep you. Keep you. Let's keep you. Oh wait, this is only one challenge, right? So, we're better off doing this. Ooh, so close. One more week of biology. Oh no, we hit 20 biology. Fuck yeah. Early pollen. Let's look at our notes. Whose birthday is early pollen? Are you not? What's going on here? That's not the right. That is definitely not the right app. There we go. That was weird. Early pollen. No one that we know of. Alright. What's up, Tangent? You spot Tangent leaning against the wall outside engineering. She's yawning, rubbing her eyes, and just staring off into space. She startles as you walk up. Oh, Solane, I was just taking a short break. Yawns are infectious. Join in and yawn, too. Did you stay up all night, too? She asked. I don't even remember when I last slept. It might have been a few days ago. You haven't slept in 2 days? More like 3, he replies, then pauses for another jaw-cracking yawn. But as I said, I'm tired. Even an enhanced body has limitations. You look at her quizzically. We knew this. I don't need to sleep as much as other people. It's a genetic... What's it? He says foggily. You know, a DNA enhancement. I guess sometimes even I forget to do it. I should set myself a reminder. Hollow, add to schedule, sleeping nightly, 2300 for 3 hours. Tangent nods sleepily. That should do it, she murmurs. Her eyes are practically closed. Find her someplace to take him. Tangent follows you obediently into the engineering wing, too tired to protest. You slip into medbay and grab a blanket and pillow off the shelf. By the time you return, Tan has already fallen asleep, curled up in an egg chair in the waiting area. You gently place the blanket over her, and she hums happily before going slack with much needed sleep. That's great. I love that. That is what you would call a good interaction. Ooh. I'll take that. Your dad boy. You can hear your dad sneeze all the way from engineering. It's explosive, like he's trying to scare away Predator. He's wiping his nose as you approach, on a handkerchief blotted with shimmering pink. Lately, he's also surrounded by a fine dust of pink pollen that clings to him wherever he goes. Keep brushing the glitter off things in your quarters. He gives you a hug, then brushes pollen off your shoulder, laughing self-consciously. You haven't heard him laugh much lately. He's been working hard trying to improve the colony's food supply. He's showing signs of malnourishment, too, though your mom is worse. You're worried for both of them. Motherfuckers, if you kill my parents... Your dad's skin is kind of shiny in patches. He sees you staring and rubs his hands over his arm. Sparkling dust poofs off him in little clouds, scintillating the light. Oh yeah, that's a new symptom, he says. Seems harmless, though. You should be wearing your mask. And hide this beautiful face, he'd laugh. Your dad laughs, rubbing his nose, especially now that it sparkles. He makes a big show of checking his pockets. Huh, I guess I must have left my respirator back in the greenhouse. Why can't he just take care of himself? Mother... Okay, chat. Wear your damn mask. I'm looking at you. Your dad sniffles. Gosh, I feel like someone stuffed a whole potato pod up my nose, he says. Like you could just poke a stick up there and pop fresh potato juice. Ugh, gross. He just grins. What? It's true. You follow his gaze out to the fields and to the lands outside the gate. I wonder if the foragers could use an extra hand, he muses himself. Yeah, maybe I'll join them outside tomorrow. Neither of your parents is taking proper care of them. They're so stressed out from the poor harvest and low food supply. They try not to let you see it, but you can tell. Maybe your dad is right. Little seasonal illness is nothing compared to the danger of running out of food. Alright, we need to go get food. Nobody else has anything. We're gonna save. Food needed badly. I have so many saves. I do not care, though. We still can't go? Fuck, why can't we go? I would like to go to the valley, please. Alright, we saved. Let's, apply to work as a farmer. You ask your mom if they're still looking for people for that farming job. Sure, kid, she tells you. This is assuming you've been studying up on your biology. School comes first. I'm ready. Your mom clasps you on the back. Oof, she's just as strong as she looks. Great, he says. Come see me in geoponics when you're ready to start. It'll be more fun than wheeling around dirt. I promise. How do we get to the valley? I am going to look this up, because I have a feeling if I don't make it to the valley, they are going to die. Looks like it is something that I can't do yet. Let's talk to... I think we did everything out in the field. Right? Let's find out. Exploring? We're gonna just check if there's... No worries, flashlight. Thank you for stopping by. I hope you have a wonderful night. Please get some sleep. Hot eyes can be dangerous in numbers, as you learned in the past, but they're also small in size, can hide in the underbrush. You don't even realize they've surrounded you until they come at you from every side. 33? We can do 33. Press. 5, 4. Brute little critters kick you, but you kick back. Alright, we've done that one before. Wait, what is this then? Come across a cluster of mush trees. They're not fully grown yet, but they're still pretty big. Might be good to harvest them before they get all gross and mushy during the rainy season. If you were older, you could probably cut them down and get some kudos for them. I'd give them a friendly pat. You like the mush trees. You give one a pat and surprised when it moves onto your hand. Not the tree though, but a camouflaged creature lying against the truck. It's small and looks like a little octopus or a starfish. A lot of long legs wrapped around its tree, giving it a hug. Egg. Ooh, another unicorn. You walk into the clearing. Immediately stop in your track. There's a Unisaur here. Yeah, we know that one. Yeah, we've done this before. We've done this before. We've done this before. Get rid of our stress. You let your mind wander. Nope, this is the biograss. We've done that one before. Three, four. Nearby pond is dammed up and washed out the path here. The path continues to the other side. Bravely fall in and get wet. You flounder to the other side, stoked but victorious. Pause in your tracks, hearing a terrifying sound. You strain to listen. Is it manticores roaring in the distance, or something even more dangerous? Well... 5... Up. You don't back down, though it takes much energy to keep walking towards the roar as you hear it again and again and again. Not a manticore, it's a little fluff of a creature. all puffed up with the effort of roaring, its voice amplified by a hollow log. Sounds just like a manticore, though. What a weird survival feature. Probably intimidates a lot of predators. You're not gonna let us see said creature. Planet is full of all sorts of little bugs. We've done this one. Press. And then 6, 5, 5. Find a good stick and whack, whack way right through the tangle of growth. Take that, nature. A lot of stuff this year. Let's go talk to Dis. We'll camp out this time. You spot Dis in the clearing, but not before he sees you first. Instead of sneaking away as usual, Kevin. He still stays still as you approach. Like it's totally natural that he'd be sitting in the middle of a jungle just so far away from the colony walls. Now that you think about it, you're a little glad to see him. You are so far away that you can't see the walls anymore, and it's really weird out here. And it's getting late. He just stares unblinkingly at you as you approach. Hi, Solane, is all he says. Hey, Dis. He seems to be in a good mood, something you see very rarely. Do you see Chief Surveyor Utopia out there? He asks. He's like X-ray vision eyes or something. He'll catch you for sure if you get too close. Caught me once and I got in big trouble. How about I show you something cool? Thinking out will be our secret, okay? He jumps up and walks away into the trees. Just a few minutes away, the ground drops off and a large stone outcropping juts out over a cliff face. This walks right to the edge without slowing. It's a long way down. Come on, he says. Try to be brave. Early on, so we'll do a boop, and a boop, and a boop. Bonus to pairs. Ah, okay. This is a good one. All cards under 3 become 3. Bonus to pairs. Yeah, look at that. Ooh, we reduced our stress. You bravely step onto the rock and walk out to the edge of the disc. That's good. Ooh, it's another stress card. Awesome. Friendship card. Perception. You both sit down, feet dangling over the precipice, looking out at the amazing view. It's incredible. You snap a picture with your holopalm, but you won't share it on the net. This is your secret. Yours and Dis. Keep exploring. Well, we got the energy now. Might as well, right? Some farmland is spilled outside the walls. The fields don't look like they're doing very well. Nobody's around right now. In fact, it looks a bit abandoned. There's some meager-looking crops ready to harvest. But animals are starting to get at them. Salvage. Yeah, we need the food. You pull out a handful of wrinkly tubers. They're probably supposed to be potatoes eventually. Maybe yams? Hard to tell. You dig around a little longer, but it's picked over. The muck hides interesting bugs and treasure. Yes, peek inside. Look closer. Put your hand in there. What we got left? This one? You step out, you stop for lunch. Let's just relax. Yes, we can go even longer. I think this is the last one. Ooh, hello. A large woolly blue creature is floating here, a meter off the ground. It seems to be upside down, which is causing it some distress. Its segmented legs kick uselessly in the air as it tries to right itself. This must be a float cow. The colony is working on domesticating these, though you haven't seen one up close before. Her slitted eyes look at you imploringly. She makes helpless lowing noise and tries to flip again over. Or again flip over, but she can't. Yeah, we're gonna flip over. You take a closer look at the float cow. You heard their float using a certain ratio of liquid to gas in their membranous bladders. So after some consideration, you figure out the bladder on her back must be too full of liquid. Alright. Don't pop the float cow, Jesus. Milk her. It's hard to milk a float cow that's upside down. She struggles and kicks her legs. You try to flip her over long enough to get the others. But thanks to a combination of might and empathy, you manage to calm her down. She's still sick. Milk's supposed to collect in her lower udder, not her gas bladder. But at least she's balanced now, and she has a chance to get well on her own. Alright. Well, I believe that is this entire area. Let's do one more pass just to make sure. I forgot that I can keyboard control on this. Ooh, hidden items. You leave the path and sneak through a strand of mush trees, one of the little sawmills. It's a small but busy operation. Sure. Stay and watch what they're doing. Even the smaller trees and bushes are getting ground up for mulch. Yeah, we've seen that before. Alright, that's us going home now. Alright, that area is clear. You're at lunch with your parents. Slice soy cakes and watery broth again. Great. When they put down their cutlery and look at each other, then you... Solane, your mom says, there's something we should tell you. We've tried to shelter you from some things, but we think you should know we've been working so hard in Geoponic. There's a meeting after lunch, and I want you to come with you. Yeah, okay. You follow your parents to the council room. Mars has also tagged along, and you take a seat near them as your mom and Aunt Anne stand to address the council. After Unicott officially calls the meeting, she gestures to your mom. Not gonna mince words, your mom says firmly. All of our efforts to increase food production in geoponics has failed, especially given the failure of the pixie beans. The destruction of the fields during the last attack put a nail in our coffin. By the end of the year, the colony will run out of food. The rest of the council murmurs in concern. You and Mars exchange horrified looks. You've been doomsaying our food supply for 2 years, Fulu, Red questions. Do you mean to say we're past the point of no return? Your mother nods grimly. I'm afraid so. Even with our rationing, without securing a Vertumnan food source, our supplies will run out by wet season. Fuck. She gestures to Anne, whose face is grave. Anne and I have gone over the supplies and come up with a food plan. We've crunched the number. Your mom sighs and spreads her hand. I'm sorry. Geoponics should have been producing better by now. We should have been able to wean ourselves off of soy ration. Doing the wormhole transit, we lost geoponics in the hull breed. He sighs again. I know it's said it so many times, but our crops just don't grow here. We needed those algae we needed the microbial soil from Earth. It's not Mom's fault. It's not. The survival of the colony shouldn't rest on one person's shoulder. It's not fair. She's been working harder than anyone. She did everything she could. Council mumbles agreement. You decide they probably never blamed her or your dad. The only holdout is Mars, who crosses their arms and grumbles that it's clearly a problem with leadership. So, what do we do now? Instance asks. Starving to death isn't an option. No, it isn't, your mom replied. We need to secure a food source this year, before our rations run out. We're working double shifts in geoponics. That's not enough. We need more people planting, tending, turning to soil. We need more hands. I can pull back the surveyors and focus on foraging native plants, or Utopia offers. Even with young folks who can help, but if they've proven themselves, oh man, I can't remember her voice. If they've proven, it was like Southern, right? If they've proven themselves around the survey equipment, I'll send out a holo message later. This has been a burden. Oh, this has been a burden. Man, now I can't do her voice. Cranberry. Man, whoa, I am losing everything. Hold on. I'm gonna take a drink. Need to reset my algorithms. This has been a burden of geoponics for too long. It is time we all stepped up for our future. The council nods in agreement. Your stomach rumbles ominously. Alright. We need to rest. We will talk to Tange. You tell Tange you know where Dis has been going. Tell her he's been sneaking out to explore the... Not far away, but outside the walls. Tange looks concerned. Really? She says, wringing her hands. Is he safe? I'll keep him safe. She eyes you skeptically. Full offense, Solane, but you're just a kid. However, I suppose it's good to know he isn't alone now. Alright, whose birthday is in pollen season? Was it still no one? Late dust, late wet, early dust. Alright. We need a rest. Most of the time you're alone up here, except for the occasional passing guard. But sometimes you're joined by Dis. He barely looks up at you as you plop down and kick your feet through the railing over the edge. He looks like he's doodling on his holopad. Seems some sort of plants, mushrooms, little creatures with too many eyes or too many legs. He has a selection of plant samples at his side, like an artist's paintbrush laid out on a towel. Be quite the junior botanist. He's not drawing plants right now, though. He's actually drawing a person. And not anyone you recognize from the colony. They have long, dark hair, and a pointed face, and are covered from neck to toe in floaty black robes. It looks neat. You wonder if they're Dis's original character or something. Like his super cool goth self-insert? That looks nice. Dis smiles shyly, but doesn't look away from his drawing. Thanks, he mumbles. I'm not very good at drawing him yet. We'll keep these. And then we're gonna go explore. Got shit to do. Forge in the valley. Utopia greets you warmly as you muster from your first expedition with the foraging. Solane! I'm glad you could make it. We need everyone we can get out here right now, boosting our food supplies. Ready to sniff out those tasties. Good luck hunting out there, he says, handing you an oversized backpack. More like a basket than a pack. Use your holopalm to identify edible and medicinal plants, and just throw them in there. I'll sort them back at base camp. Oh, and keep on the lookout for creatures. It's pretty peaceful out here in the valley, but even a little bug gets you if you're not careful. Go slow, pay attention to your surroundings. If you're unsure about something, don't approach it. Stay on the path and don't get lost. We don't call it the Valley of Vertigo for nothing. Any questions? Oh, you can flirt with Utopia? Probably not a good idea, but no, I'm good. You're about to leave when Utopia snaps her finger. Hold up, Solane. We're also investigating some species we might domesticate. Those we'll want to tag and capture. Ideally, we're looking for herbivorous creatures what already live in herds and either produce something edible or reproduce quick enough that we can slaughter them for meat. If you see anything that fits the bill, Tag him and bring him back. Alright, you got it. Hello, friend. You come across not just one Variki, but a whole swarm of them. Mostly just baby ones, about the size of your head. They're all amassed around a massive tree, scurrying up and down a trunk. When you can see the tree itself under the swarm, you notice the same pale pink as the baby Variki. Its tentacle-like roots meander a fairly large distance before plunging in the ground. Aww. Need more bravery. Not by much, though. We're there. When the Variki see you approach, they get agitated, and they look hungry. Definitely hungry. Lot like does... Oh, man, that probably could get me one of them as a pet. Grapefruit-sized furry pink spider. Alright, well... That wasn't so hard. I'm speaking as her. Well, that wasn't so hard. You smack a... I mean, the thing is, Kevin, you're only 14. I think that our character would have built a crush and would stick with that crush. Well, that wasn't so hard. You smack a couple of them to the ground, and the rest scuttle up the bows and boughs and hide there. You puff your chest bravely and walk on. You decide to take a shortcut through the jungle to a pass you were sure just up ahead, and now you're lost. Everything looks the same here. The plants are too high to see any landmarks, and you swear some of them move around when you aren't looking. You try to check your positioning with your hollow palm, but the damn thing isn't working. It won't connect to long-range communication either. Typical. Utopia did warn you the comms are flaky out here. You think you can tell north position? Yeah, we got the perception. You climb a tree and chart a path through the wilderness from above. With that information in your hollow palm, navigating to the nearest landmark is a breeze. Awesome. You come to a veritable feast of berry bushes. Delicate, fluffy-leaved bushes with long blue berries. They look delicious. Search them first. Uh-oh. There we go. Your research confirms that these blueberries are edible. Harvest them. You harvest the blueberries by the handful, filling your basket. When you bring them back to Utopia, she cheers. These are a favorite. Here, sweets, she says, tossing you a berry. Have one. They're delicious. Awesome. A Bristol slug is rooting around the underbrush. Ooh, we can try and catch it. It's like a little porcupine with no legs. Well, little is relative. It comes up to your waist and must weigh at least 100 kilograms. You've seen a few of these at Geoponics. They're easy to catch, and their spines and berries naturally fall off and are edible. A chewy, renewable source of food, kind of like jerky. Maybe you could catch this one? Yes. 82. Holy crap. Yes! You're pretty sure this one is a female because it's bristles on its butt as well as its head. Her eyes are a deep green. You think you'll call her Emerald. She seems calm in the net, like she isn't too worried about where she must be going. You crouch down with a clump of leaves, she sticks her muzzle through the net and eats them right out of her hand. Aww! Her whiskers tickle. She's like a seal. You pat her on her forehead and pack her off to geoponic barns. Animal tending. Awesome. You can visit her later if you want. Hell yeah, we're gonna visit our seal friend. You hear a rustle in the bushes and catch a glimpse of a shadowy figure. Could it be a person? Whatever it is, you lose sight of it in the dark. Follow it. The wilderness is thick here, as is the fog that comes in waves. You'll need to rely on your tracking skills to go further. Alright. 63, we can do that. We will do a boop, and a boop, and a boop. And then 5. We need one more. We can do that. You're looking for a person, so it's surprised when you come face to face with a weird-looking creature. It looks like a person, a bit. More like a tree, really. Some kind of bush bump, maybe, but more tentacles and slime. Like a tree oozing with goopy sap with 2 legs. Yuck. It makes some kind of noise as you back away. Hey, you find a healthy blep bush and harvest some of the leaves to bring back to the colony. Utopia is beyond excited when she sees your haul. Ah, blep, she cries, shoving her hands right into the basket of rustling leaves. Solane, you're a boy after my own heart. She pops a leaf into her mouth and chews on it, then shudders happily. Ooh, she cries. That'll perk you up, but good. Aunt Anne brews a heck of a cup of that stuff, but me, I prefer it raw. She points to you. Don't you get any funny ideas? This'll turn you green and give you spots across my heart. Can't wait till you're older. Let's not chew on them. Good boy. Utopia's probably exaggerating about the cosmetic effects, but she might have a good reason. Blep leaves will probably stunt your growth for something. That. Line of termite-like insects crosses the path here. Curiously, you follow them to their massive sponge-like hive of crawling bugs, breathing with life. The bugs are tending to larvae nestled in the holes of the sponge, feeding on rich royal jelly that oozes from the hive. You step forward for a closer look and hear a warning hiss from above. Atop the hive is a queen... whatever it is. Wait, no. She is the hive. Wait, this is a squeeger hive. Her abdomen is swollen and lodged in the ground here, rendering it immobile. Not defenseless. The hive queen groans and growls at you, and the air particles prickle with the burning flavor of acid. You must have some sort of defensive acid spray. Let's not. Yeah, we're right here. Your path is blocked by a massive 8-legged xenofauna. Something between a spider and a squid and a bear. In its rage, grunting furiously and bashing itself against trees. Oh, it's in a rage, at rocks at random. You duck and hide as it glares in your direction, its breath having a dozen of eyes gleaming with madness. It's the same soft pink and purple you recognize from the multi-legged freaky that live in this area, but so much larger. Could this be a related species? Sing to it! 65. Hard gets... Okay. Good. Hard gets 2. 2. And then 6. 5. 3. 5. I think we can get this. 4. 3. Yep. Awesome. Strange approach. You've seen it work in vids. Sometimes music can soothe the savage beast. You sing a lullaby, and the great beast looks at you with curiosity. Eventually, its eyes drift closed and it settles down, tucking its many legs underneath it. It must have been very tired to begin with, like a toddler who skipped their nap. We're gonna leave it. You leave the creature and move on. Shit, we're right at the end of there. Alright, we're gonna rest this week, and then quickly get back into there. Alright, new month? Yeah, early dust. Who's our early dust buddy? Ooh! It is our love interest's birthday. Nem is in the middle of tying her mane of her hair away from her face. Oh hey, Solane, she says, hair tied between her. They're just about to go for a run. Want to come? I got something for you. Well, you like the Xeno eggs. Let's give you one of those. Cool, thanks, Nem says, taking the egg. I guess it is my birthday this week. I kind of forgot. How is she doing? We're getting up there with her. Okay, we're getting there on the food shortfall. Nobody else? You sit at the window and watch people hard work in geoponics. You feel a little guilty putting your feet up when everyone else is working so hard, but who could blame you? The family has you so stressed out. Maybe you could help out next week. Or you could join a foraging team and try to bring back some food. But next month. We're gonna reload, because if there's no event there, I am gaming the system right now, just for the matter of, I don't know that I'm gonna do a second playthrough on stream, so I do want to get you guys to see the end. Did we already give her? We did, okay. Yep. This gives you a short nod as you climb up on the walls and take your place nearby. He's good company, if you're looking for that kind of company that leaves you alone and doesn't bother you very much. He's looking for the same. You're a good match for each other either way. Okay. That can go away. Time for Vertumnalia, the yearly midsummer celebration where the colony gives thanks for its good fortune. Well, it would be, but as you file into the main square, you can't help but notice the feast table is nearly empty. When Anne lacks in resources, she made up with care. The dishes are lovingly plated. Cakes glisten. Steam rises from buns stuffed with mince. There are great pitchers of vegetable broth rendered out from even the most inedible food scraps. The neat stack of sugar cubes for dessert. Full sugar, what a luxury. An underwhelming feast. That'll be the highlight. Governor Udicott's welcoming speech this year is short. Her frail body trembles as she welcomes you all to Vertumnalia with a dry, whispery voice that has to be helped off stage. Like all of you, she's been feeling the effects of the famine. Everyone clears away the chairs for the annual competition. Which one do you participate in this year? We're gonna do the science fair, because I feel like our strength stats are doing well. Pange has reworked her project from last year. You can remember it. Something terribly complicated about cell differentiation for autumnal species. Plants, animal, and fungus alike. She melted down when Dr. Instance pressed her on something. This year she's all business. Back and better than ever. She's not only corrected her error, but added a ton more complexity and depth to her analysis. Instant listens intently and congratulates her on her marvelous comeback. You're up next. Team. Or 3? Do we not get a straight because of that? That's... well, then forget that. Do that. We'll do that. And I guess that. No, we'll go ahead and do that. E, 4, 5, 6. Still doesn't become straight. I guess it's got to go the other way around. So. Super goal. You've been studying the yearly attack. They only happened during glow. But why? You've been graphing and analyzing surveyor data on the animals and discovered the attacks don't correlate with natural behavior or migration pattern. You thought at first the wormhole might agitate them. It does put off low-frequency waves during glow that haven't yet been fully studied. So a year ago, you studied actually monitoring the waves and realized there's actually 2 waves. One from the wormhole, and a weaker one somewhere on the planet. During glow, when the vibrations in the wormhole are present, it seems to activate something in the planet's frequency, making it stronger and more complex. These frequencies run right through the colony and like targeted beams, drawing animal migrations closer. It's almost as if something is summoning the animal. Ooh, the judges are amazed. This is a huge breakthrough, and it's all just happened because you wanted to win a science fair. We got some stuff. You have a lot of work to be able to use this theory for forecasting the next attack, but Red is excited to study this further. You win the science fair, hands down. Yeah. After the festivities, the whole colony takes a few days off for a break. Well, except for Geobronics, and the foragers, and the kitchens, and everybody who uses their break from usual work to help out in places they didn't close. Okay, it's not really a break. You take it easy anyway. Mid-dust. Who's our mid-dust buddy? Nobody? Really? Do we not have a birthday for mid-dust? Early dust? Late dust? Alright, well. We need food. Go get food. Anybody got something to say? Nope. We're gonna go do the final the boss, that yellow exclamation point, and then do the rest of the stuff, because I think we also had to come here to solve the shimmer, which we definitely want to solve, because I do not want Dad dying. You're alone, exploring an unmapped area of the Valley of Vertigo. The pollen is thick here, and your air filter is overworked. A warning light has been flashing orange for the last 10 minutes. But there are plants here that you've never seen before. Flowers with intense rainbow hues, and strange lumps of fungal matter which pulse as if they're breathing. You cut some samples. Utopia will totally give you extra kudos for these. The pollen is especially thick up ahead, deep fuchsia shimmering with color. Everything here seems to dance with teeny flecks of reflected lights. Kind of magic. You push forward into the suffocating pink fog. It's so thick you can only see a few meters ahead. I need a drink. You follow the glimmering towards where it's densest. You come upon a glade filled with what seems to be strange topiaries. They loom out of the glimmering fog, each the shape of an animal. They're all these used to be animals. They're all formed of the same spongy, glittering pink substance with dotted finger-length fungal growths. You're so distracted, you almost fall into a large hole at the center of the glade. Check for danger. You've seen plant-like animals before. Are those topiaries actually predators waiting for you to get close? You watch them carefully from the edge of the glade, and they're all completely still, not breathing. There are no life signs. Blue. Take a sample of the fungus. You bend down to take a sample, you realize a dense shimmering haze is coming from the topiary. The fog is seeping out of holes at the end of each fungal growth. You remember helping Tange for extra credit in biology class. She said the shimmer, the seasonal illness that affects your dad and pollen, is some kind of colonizing fungal growth. Is this related? Inspect the topiaries. As you get close, you realize with glowing revulsion that this was once a living creature, now encased or transformed. The more you think about it, the more you're sure this is related to the shimmer. Look down the hole. Bottom of the hole is a cave. It slopes gradually through the cave floor about only 4 meters down, then disappears underground. You aren't sure how far the cave continues past this point. Dark down there, obviously. Not silent. There's some kind of strange rhythmic whirring coming from inside the cave. Climb into the hole. You make your way down to the gentle slope towards the cave. The thick, shimmering pollen makes it hard to see further than your hand. You see 3 glowing vats set to the floor, like neon hot tubs, and an old-fashioned mechanical interface set into the cave wall. The reflecting glow from the vats flickers in the cave ceiling, ghost-like and beautiful. Poke at the mechanical interface. Unmasked. Cross the cave and lay your hands across the interface. It feels spongy. Almost alive. Instantly, you feel your mind blast open by everything, all at once, as if 1,000 pair of eyes all turn their terrible gaze upon you. You're thrown back by the shock, brings you to your senses with a snap. The pollen. Sparkling dust feels like tiny knives in your sinuses and heavy, choking in your lungs. Why'd you take off your mask? Slap your suit helmet back on and see lights flashing red, indicating filter overload. You lurch out of the cave towards the checkpoint, barely able to breathe. You need to get out of here, but a small part of you wants to go back down there, stay in this glade forever. So you're near the checkpoint. Utopia runs out to help you. You instinctively turn back, unthinking, wanting to return to the fog. Collapse in her arms. Okay. We're going to reload, because I did not want it to go that way. And then if it ends up being that happens no matter what, we'll reload again and do a bunch of the extra stuff and then go do that. Check for danger. Topiaries. Ooh. Strange sense of remembering. This is a bad place. Take a sample. Leave. You turn to leave, your filter blink flashing red, and you realize with horror you've been in a dense pollen too long. You lurch back towards the checkpoint, barely able to breathe. Your helmet is so clogged you don't think air is getting in at all. You can see it clearly, as if seeing a vision. If you take your mask off, surely you'll be able to breathe better. Something in your terrified brain clings to this idea. No, we're keeping that on. No, don't go gently into that pink night. You're hyperventilating. Can't get enough oxygen through your clogged filter. Darkness closes in from the edge of your vision until you see the world as if it's through a long tunnel. You're near the checkpoint. Okay. It is both. Alright. It is both. So we are going to go do a bunch of other stuff and then do that final mission. Yes, I apologize. We are save scumming. No, I do not care. Also, that's interesting. I guess when you see events, the premonitions happen no matter what, which is a cool concept. Like, the premonitions must be safe, separate from the your current playthrough. You come across another squeeger hive, an intensely gravid hive queen and her hundred of wriggling grubs, rooted here just like any other one. This one seems calm. You're able to approach close enough to smell the sweet tang of her royal jelly. Watch quietly. It's absolutely fascinating. Squeeger hive coos to her children, who skitter in and out of the holes on her surface. You can see where her eyes used to be, but now she's more mound than creature. She still breathes, but eats only what she can absorb from her legs, which have become roots. Her larval children pinch her when they're hungry. She groans, clenches, and then sweet-smelling jelly. Alright. Bup. 4, 5. Food. Calm hive queen is only rudimentary danger sense. Squeeger hives can be very defensive when they sense danger to the young. But so long as you don't set off the worker or the larvae, you're free to walk up right to her. You gently avoid hurting any of the babies. You scrape her copious amounts of honey into the collector. Thank you, Queenie. You come across a cluster of mushrooms. Are they edible? There's only one way to find out. Well, there are a few ways if you're not a coward. Five. 3. You determine these mushrooms aren't only poisonous, but explosive as well. You mark their location down in your hollow palm so other foragers know to stay clear of the area, and Utopia rings you a few kudos for good scouting. See that? You come out of the trees to a large, grassy clearing. The middle as well, you can only describe it as a pedestal. In the middle of cradle flowers, it's a massive egg. Easily larger than any egg you've seen before. It's white with red flecks and just sitting there in the middle of the empty clearing. Totally unprotected. Take it! Starts growling. Flowering appendages unfurl to reveal the face of a manticore. It's narrow its feline eyes at you and rumbles a warning as it stands to its full, terrifying height. Figured out where the egg came from. With your arms full of egg, you can't really fight. Your choices are limited. Keep the egg and run. My egg. 3, 4, 5. You stumble blindly through the clearing towards the relatively safety of the trees, the cumbersome egg blocking your view of your own feet. You fall a few times, just barely managing to scramble out from the claws of the manticore. You eventually find a member of the Expedition Protection Squad, who fires a warning shot in the plasma rifle over the manticore's head. It roars in defiance and slinks into the trees. Food! Ooh, more kudos. And a collectible. The egg's pretty addled from all the running and falling, but if it was going to hatch before, it certainly won't now. Get a shit ton of kudos for it, and it's super tasty. We still haven't found any pets. Makes me sad. Hello. You find a trippet. A large, tasty plant? Kind of. You've heard it's some sort of animal, too. Like, a lot of creatures in Vertumna, it defies classification. Whatever it is, it's huge. Practically taller than you are. Some stalks. You analyze the freshest and youngest looking shoots. Plants shudder. Analyze that shudder. Hey, Poolto. 5, 4, 3. Nope. Well, that won't do us any good. Oh, well, that's fine. -1 stress. One that, then one that. Yeah, this plant is alive and sentient like an animal. It's definitely not happy that you're ripping its limbs off. Hard to tell if it's in pain, really, but you say discomfort at least? All the same, we're gonna stop. Yeah, no, something about what you're doing feels wrong. You make note of your map where it is, oddly, you never find it again. Yeah, I'm not gonna just, like, sit there ripping someone's limbs off. Curious, Vriki blocks your path. It's acting strange. Keeps hurrying up trees and hanging upside down to get a different angle to look at you. And dropping down as you try to path underneath. Maybe small, but it must be attempting to be intimidating. Must mean something. Friend? There's a better way to do this. What's the better way? That's the better. The Vriki runs up your leg. The giant spider thing has got weird tentacles. Get it off. The urge to dance around, shake, it's almost controllable, but you manage to keep your cool. The Vriki tastes you with its tentacle feeler legs, but doesn't look interested in causing you harm. Pokes your backpack trying to give in, and then gives up and scurries off. Oh, I wanted a friend. Alright, any other... Yeah, grab you. Across a huge field of flowers. Most are teensy pink ones, but some are big, beautiful, yellow ones. You check the Holopedia. Looks like they're a brand new species. They don't even have a name. They need, like, butter dan. Even though they look neither buttercups or dandelions. Honestly, they look more like spitting cobras than anything. Physical red cards. A 3, a 3. That'll do it. Notice a distinct difference between the blooms. If you watch insect bugs from flower to flower, you know they leave a trail of slightly more pinched-looking specimens. The pollinated ones will likely close up and be shriveled by morning. With this knowledge, you pick up 3 healthy, unpollinated beauties. Is there anywhere we haven't been? Look around. This appears to be it. Alright, let's go do this mission. The rest of it is we can leave, right? Oh! Hey, look at that! You exit the thick pollen and are able to see again. You mask warning light starts flashing red. The filter's finally clogged. You got out of there not a moment too soon. You lurch back towards the checkpoint where the other foragers quickly replace your filter. Utopia chides you for not paying attention. Alright, go home. We didn't have to rest. Late dust. Who's got a birthday in late dust? Cal. Cal peers up from you from the crops he's working on, picking bugs off some of them. Hey, Solane, he says, stretching his arms over his head. You can hear his stomach rumble. Cal laughs sheepishly and rubs his tummy. Sorry, I guess I'm just kind of hungry. I'm a growing boy, you know. Did anything happen when you find the mechanical interface? Yeah, it said that, like, you saw thousands of eyes looking at you, and then you kind of passed out. Birthday! Oh wow, this looks delicious, Cal explains. Thanks for the birthday gift, Solane. You know I love to eat. Let's go. How are we doing on food? Ooh, we're not doing bad. Alright. Pan slips is tapping away at a hollow screen, smiling to herself. Great news, Solane, she says. According to the antiquated, culturally insensitive, and reckoning of mental prowess once used by humans on Earth. And by that I mean IQ testing. I'm officially considered a genius. He shrugs. Tell me something I don't know. I mean, alright. Tend to the animal. Well, let's work on the farm. No, let's tend to the animal. You meet your dad by the animal pens, fresh and ready for your first day on the job. Your dad laughs at your clean clothes and your scrubbed face. Oh, Pumpkin. I'm sorry to tell you you're a little overdressed for the position, he chuckled. You're gonna get dirtier than heck all day. Go on, put on these overalls. Let's get to work. You change and follow your dad to the float cow pens. He rubs their noses as he points out their names. I know they're cute, but these ladies aren't pets. They're livestock. And more than that, they're not really domesticated like our animals back on Earth. They're more like... tame? We give all the animals lots of room to roam, and we feed them well. They're not going to get chased down and eaten by bigger animals, and we help them if they're sick. It's a pretty good deal, I think, but still pretty wild, he says. You gotta be careful with them. He leans his elbows on a fence. We were pretty lucky that Vertumna has herd animals, he said. Makes it a little easier. Probably have real domestic animals in a couple hundred years. Well, kiddo, we've got about all these animals. What do you want to learn about first? The trippets. No joke. We thought these guys were just plants for the first couple of years, your dad says. We transplanted them from the wild into the greenhouses, but I guess it was just part of their life cycle because it turns out they're sentient and can move around and stuff. We moved them out of the greenhouses into the barns, but we don't really treat them differently. They're still mostly just sit there. Oh yeah, we got a ton of them. They're great. Slow and gentle and easy to catch, which you already know. They're like land manatees. Don't let the spikes fool you. They're actually really cuddly and don't mind when you pet them. It actually helps them. In the wild, they'd be scratching up all sorts of things to knock off those itchy berries. He scrunches up his nose. They're not really berries. They're more like... eggs? Well, they're like berries, though, because they're very sweet, and you know what? Never mind. Vertumnum animals are weird. Your dad takes a row of crates where the soft, squishy sugar bugs are all clumped up together in the moist. These guys are pretty cool, he says, picking one up perfectly in palm. They're a colony, just like us, and if you tickle them, you get... He brushes his finger off the top of the sugar bug, and he lets the little jet of gooey stuff comes out. Sugar bug syrup. Pretty neat, huh? Alright, let's get started. Great, your dad says, clapping you on the back. That's the kind of energy I want to see around here. We need some muck to float cow stables. They might float, but their poop sure doesn't. He hands you a shovel. Have fun! So we're, what, early wet? Who's our early wet birthday? Late wet? Mars. Alright. Mars, you're a problem person, but we'll give you a gift. If I can't use kudos to buy more food, what is the point of being rich? Mars complains. She rocks back on her heels and puts her hands on her hip. Why can't we nanoprint organic material yet? Aren't we living in the future? My food. Same thing. Alright. Oh, wait, she got something to say? You know, Solane. You're alright, Mars says as you approach. You blink at her, trying to figure out what she means. You're an alright what? At your stunned silence, Mars laughs and tosses her hair over her shoulder. You're alright, she repeats. You actually have good taste, unlike all these other nullheads. Ever since landed, it's been help this, Mars, and don't waste the resources on that, Mars. It's boring. At least you understand the importance of sophistication. You shoot the breeze with Mars a bit longer. At some point, Jay's skulks out of the living quarters and has to pass by you both, clearly trying not to draw your attention. Where is he going now? Mars mutters to you, then raises her voice so disc here. Try not to get eaten by aliens, she calls at the disc. If you die out there, they can't use your body for fertilizer. Don't be a waste. I'm definitely not doing that. Let's go with this. Not about being weird. Just like, he never wants us to do anything with us. Doesn't he know making himself an outcast? We're all stuck here together. So, like, get it together. Yes, you know? She looks at her nails. He doesn't care about contributing to the colony or being popular or in kudos or anything important. What do you contribute, Mars? Mars laughs and puts her hands on her hips. I contribute plenty, and you know it, Solane. People need someone to tell them what to do, don't they? Not necessarily. Alright, so we need to make another... I'm just really quickly going to see if there's anything else out there. Forge in the Valley. Because we need more food. Like, I can tell you that. Guessing we have to go to the next year. Alright. Then... let's do some farming. It's a proud day for your mom. Finally following in her footsteps. She meets you at the gates to the gardens. Hello, Sprout, she says, sounding chipper. Come on, we've got a lot to cover before you're able to keep up with the rest of us. Finally, some real farming. Your mom shows you around the fields and the geoponic domes. You'll mostly be working in the fields with the hardier crops, like the potatoes and the corn, as well as the native plants we've managed to cultivate. She shakes her head, and with the state of the crops right now, we need a miracle. She's right, the crops are worryingly meager. Thickly yellow soybeans and potatoes with lush, enormous leaves, but barely any potatoes under them. Spend the rest of your day pulling weeds, and watering plants. You're dirty up to your waist by the time you're finished, but it's all good, honest work. You're proud to be able to do something that helps the colony. Cal gives you a high five and invites you to a cool drink at the cafeteria. All the other agriculturists join you. Of all the places in the colony you worked, geoponics is the most like a family, maybe because they've always been your family, thanks to your mom and dad. Someone broke in the gardens probably last night, and stole some green tomatoes. No to waste, not only were they probably too bitter to eat, but now you don't have the seeds to replant. Mom is furious. Your mom calls everyone for an all-hands meeting. She looks grim as surveys the group. Alright, farmers, listen up. Based on my projections, geoponics should have been producing 70% of the colony's food by the end of our 3rd year. The rest was to be provided by stored rations and hydroponic green algae greenhouses across the aboard the stratosphere. The agriculturists all nod. Everyone knows where this is going. Because we lost so much of our hydroponic equipment in the wormhole incident, as well as 90% of our soil and bacteria cultures, we're nowhere near the production we need to be at. We also hope to have domesticated at least one native crop. Found the pixie beans last year. We have some more work to do on that. She eyes every one of you in the eye. Oh, she looks every one of you. You're my people, my family. I'm not going to sugarcoat you for this. This for you. The colony is going to fail if we don't get a handle on agriculture production. People will die. You feel a pit in your stomach that's not just from hunger. You can't imagine someone as strong as your mother just wasting away. Your mother pulls up a hollow screen outlining work plans for this season. You feel your own palm pulse as you receive a copy. There's so much life here on this planet, your mother says. It seems to fight us at every turn. I've sent soil chemistry analysis to your palm, courtesy of Gerania. The soil needs to be conditioned extensively to support Earth crops. We need to cultivate more of our tumnin crops in partnership with the forager. I probably shouldn't have gone to animals. Probably should have seen this. I bet you this is going to unlock something in the valley. We need to salvage what we can of hydroponics and get that up and running by the end of the year. Your mother would never stoop to being beaten. You can see the lines of fatigue around her. It'll take a superhuman amount of work to turn this, but it is still possible. You are the people who will save this colony. Believe in us and the miracles we're performing. Thank you for being here to do the work. Let's get out there. Yeah, I'm gonna reload to an older save, I think, depending on what this next one does. Alright, 6, 5, 4, 3. No one has a mid-wet month birthday. Late danger? Alright, we're gonna go look. If not, we'll go work in the farms again. Oh, hello. You spent some time working in geoponics, so you know your way around a plant or two. You notice something different about it. The bare ground feels bouncy, like a trampoline, and the plants all look weirdly stunted. Not a lot can stifle nature here, so it's honestly a little weird there's no grasses or mosses. Notice the unusual biodiversity. All the plants in this clearing are oddly stunted, and there are very few grasses or weeds, though something has sucked all the nutrients out of the soil. Or wait, is this even soil? You kneel and take a closer look. More like a kind of dense moss, or coral maybe. You press a hand into the moist, fleshy substance. It smells sweet and starchy, like cake. Blankets the ground here in a thick, sponge-like layer, swallowing up everything it touches. Gross. It smells so good. You dig a chunk of the sponge cape up and bring it back to geoponics. Further analysis is needed, but you have a good feeling about this. Late wet is Ange's birthday? We should know. We'll know. Yes. Medicinal roots. It seems you've remembered my birthday, Ange says, taking the roots and turning them over in her hand. Her lips curl in distaste. Okay, nope, same one. Nope. You spot Tan sitting on a large boulder outside the lab. He's eating a pressed soy bar ration with determination, alternating bites with huge gulps of water to wash it down as quickly as possible. What are you doing out here? She stops her grim work long enough to acknowledge your question. I hit the limit of the number of consecutive hours they'll allow me to work in the lab, he says. So I'm taking a break, she says, mocking the airs around the sentence. How dare they? That's what I said, Ange replied. I think they could just boss me around because I'm younger, she scoffs. Smarter than any two of them combined. Ugh. Ange groans and rubs her bloodshot eyes. I just want to work, you know? So frustrated to be deep in the zone and feeling like I'm just on the precipice of a discovery, and then someone tells me apparently my genius is taking too long. I want them to treat me like I belong there. The way Dr. Instance does, Ange mutters. She actually respects me. They're just jealous she likes me more. Ange slides off the boulder, and you see the color bleed from her face as she stumbles into you, crumpling on the ground. Oh, she grits out, leaning over. The dizziness passes. I thought the nutritional uptake of that bar would be quicker than a real meal, especially after taking into account the time required to walk to the cafeteria. She trails off, realizing she's clutching your jacket, pushes you away. My apologies. I am, regrettably, it seems, only human. Tan scrubs her hands over her face. Sometimes it feels like a prisoner in my own body. Like I can feel myself trapped in it. This stinking, sweating bag of meat and bad impulses. Stuck with the burden of keeping it alive every day for the rest of my life, and can't wait. Cry? Anne scowls and wipe her eyes away angrily. No, I'm not crying. Just resentment for my physical form. Reminds me of when I was little and Instance used to the gene tech to give me this body. The right body. Only this body's wrong too, quietly. Right in a lot of ways, but still imperfect. Still human. If I were an AI, hello! Everything would be more simple. I could just do my work. I could just do what I'm good at. No messy biological functions, no emotions. Paige, I don't think you understand what being an AI means. Like, if you're an actual intelligence, you're gonna have emotion. I can speak from the heart on that one. Just clear and beautiful purpose. I hate this. I hate feeling like this. I'm always here to listen. Paige manages a watery smile and wipes her eyes. She says, I apologize for being all wet on you. Won't happen again. She wipes her eyes and straightens her jacket, then takes a deep breath. Holds it for 10 seconds, her eyes closed. By the time she opens them again, she looks ready to go back to work as if nothing happened. You admire Tan's determination, but sometimes you think it might come at a price. What does learn more mean? Like, I don't see... There's not a thing here, right? Like... Alright, we need a rest. You're enjoying some quiet time on the walls when you look down to see a group of school children on a field trip outside the walls. Wait, are you missing a field trip? Aw, maybe you are missing something by doing all the schoolwork up here alone. That's gonna go away. Been 3 seasons of heavy food rationing, getting more and more strict as the year dragged on and the fields continue to struggle. You've been wasting away. You all have. It's not just lack of calories, there aren't enough vitamins and good stuff in the food you're eating. Yet. Your muscles ache. Sometimes you feel strangely euphoric, filled with inexplicable energy, but often it feels like there are weights tied to your shoulders, pulling you down. You're tougher than most, but you still have trouble sleeping despite being tired all the time. You spend the whole day in a day's fog. For months, the idea of food plagued your thoughts. You replace the odd sense of peace. Now you feel half tethered to this reality, floating like a balloon. Your friends stop working and retreat to their quarters. You lie to each other in the holonet, saying you're okay, just taking it easy, waiting for the harvest. Well, the harvest came and went, meager as ever. Your mother still hasn't given up, never rests, never stops working, as much as your dad begs her to. She must be sleeping in geoponics. We are helping. You help out there in the fields with her, being her sidekick, helping her fetch things. She never slows down. When the roboplow finally breaks under pressure, she doesn't. She's out there even longer, doing everything by hand. Both of your parents feel responsible for this famine, but as the head of geoponics, your mom takes it personally. She's been skipping meals, relying on water, pressed soy bar rations. You and your dad try to slow her down, but she's a stubborn woman. If not her, she says, we're gonna have to reload. Then who? You and dad are in the lounge, slowly sipping your vegetable broth when there's a commotion. Someone's run in. Fuck. You run over, knowing deep in the pit of your stomach that something terrible has happened. You know the feeling is real. Nope. Nope. Not on my watch. We're going back. Here's what we're doing. He cries out a cry like something never heard before. A deep, unimaginable pain. Dragged it from the darkest part of where fear lives. Dad falls to his knees beside the frail body of your mother. He pulls her into his arms and sobs, wretched and agonized. Don't know what to think. Mom always seemed larger than her body, but seeing her now, there's nothing there, just a fragile shell. They tell you she didn't even cry out. She just went to her knees, then lay down in the dirt. She's gone. Your mother's body is taken to the incinerator room, and that night the colony gathers to pay their respect. You join them. Like Tammy's funeral, the incinerator room has been cleared of a wreath of flowers placed over the mouth of the organics recycler. And we've been going long. Their white Astrontia, your mother's favorite flower, carefully carried from Earth with hopes of it flourishing in Vertumna, just like you. Staying with your father and Aunt Anne. Udicott and the rest of the council are here as well, including Rhett. Surprised to see tears rolling down his face. He's such a hard-ass in the garrison. Cal is here with all the other agriculturists. The rest of the colony waits in the canteen to offer their condolences after the service. Udicott gives the eulogy. As a colony, we share our blessings. However, today, in sad company, we gather to share the burden of our grief. Fluorescent was born on Earth, but she may more than many of us exemplified the spirit of our endeavor to bring life beyond the stars. She bore life, not only in her body, but bringing it forth from the ground she so faithfully attended. The debt we owe her is the kind that can never be repaid. It is with a deep and unbearable grief we must continue without her, in awe and respect for her sacrifice. The death of which was never expected of her, but which she did not expect of anyone else. It is on her strong shoulders that she carries us all still. Udicott closes the door to the recycler, and the particle disintegrators begin to reclaim the molecules that once formed your mother. Father squeezes your shoulder, making a small, choked-off noise of pain. As a community, we remember Fluorescent. As a community, we return her body to the soil that nourishes us. In this way, her sacrifice is recognized in the manifest body of the colony. The ceremony is adjourned to the canteen, where a somber wake is held in your mother's memory. There isn't enough food to dull the emotion, and your empty stomach only reminds you of her unfinished work. Your father is the new head of geoponics, and in a few hours he receives your mother's remains so that he can add them to the colony's precious supply of brown soil from Earth. You touch the cool lid of the container, marveling that your mother could fit in such a small box. You don't have to be okay, your dad says quietly, his voice thick with emotion. I know I'm not. I have to keep going where she left off, but if you can, you should take some time off. Nope. Mom wouldn't want you to be weak. Well, too hard to sit around feeling sorry for yourself while there was work to be done. A few days after the funeral, surveyors return with an unexpected bounty from the Valley of Vertigo. Enough to survive for another month. Until the new year, maybe. You keep rationing. Your colony will continue to limp along, but without your mother. I really don't want to say... We were so close. How close? Bitch, we're at 20%. Yeah. Oh, goddamn close. What if... How far back can we go? What if we go back? Because the problem was we were exploring the wrong places, right? So what if we go back to the previous year. Animals and perception were too low. Also biology. What, Yep, yep, yep. Of course I'll help. Uh-huh. Yep. Did I find a sample? Biology. The biology is now 20. Late dust is Cal's birthday. Cal, we don't have anything for you, but do that. Bravery perception. Bravery perception. I don't think there was anything left here, right? No, this is all fully explored, so alright, what's wrong with her? Can't do that. Nope, that wasn't what I wanted. Oh, I didn't want to do that either. I feel like that's not... We need better perception. What gives us perception? Is it just outside? Going around outside that gave us perception? Yeah, I guess so. I got animals to 20. I forgot to give a present. Yeah, I selected Solane's name. It was, you could either be Solane, Solana, or Solanacea? Solanacea? That biology up. Alright, let's go exploring. We give Tange gift first. I'll be real upset if we can't. Yes. Figure out what's wrong with her. Float cow. Okay. Um... Perception. Yep. Beans. Hmm. Hmm. I wonder if we would know about the food because of our premonitions. We're gonna rest. Nope. On the gates. Tactically. Then 6. Hmm. Hmm. All right. Biology, we need to get up. But animals. Yep. Right. Yep. Sure. Mm-hmm. Hmm. Final attempt. Alright, so we're gonna go see if we can't finish this area. Got some food. Great. Hmm. Uh... Yes, perfect. This is actually working out really well. I'm getting stats that I really need. Touch one. Perception and animals. All right, that actually might help a lot. Antecedent. Moochums. Final bid. Quiet. Everybody here good? Yep. All right. I didn't want to do that. Okay. When is the Vertimnalia? When the hell is... I should have wrote a note of this. We're going to write this down. Exocolonist. Vertimnalia. Mid-dust. Alright. So it is... We get one more after this. We're going to go back out there. Food. The reason why we're going back out there is because of our boost right now, we can get so many stat points. Including perception and stuff. 6. 6. 6. 3. Like that. Oh shit, did I choose the wrong one? Chose the wrong one. Nope, 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 nope. Load. Perception. Come back to you, buddy. Pick. There we go. This is over there. We got stuff over here to look at. Figure out what's wrong with her. Milk the float cow. Peek inside that hole. Closer. Got the root. Hello, friend. Oh, there's a whole area over here. All right, we'll come back. All right, so now we're gonna go back because this gives us another month to do biology, and then we get Vertumnalia, and then we can go start exploring where we need to be. Yeah, no, keep... Maybe? Yeah, because what I didn't think about, by doing the extra exploration, even if we have to rest the month after, we got so many stat increases there. Okay, early pollen. Oh, wait, Vertumnalia is not pollen, is it? Rest? I mean, we can go do some more. Where was that one that was all the way over there? Hidden secrets. I guess let's go do this advancement. Yeah, but look at our stats here. You're too busy taking mental notes about this creature's anatomy and behavior to worry about your own safety. It totters along, using its long legs to pick its way through the bushes on an uneven terrain. It must have had its leg curled up under its body earlier, perfectly camouflage itself as a rock. After a minute, the creature crouches down and looks at something, and the two of you jump off. You are impressed that Disc kept his cool, and you tell him so. Actually, he said, I was kind of freaking out inside. You laugh and say that you were too. It's funny. This might suck with people, but it's kind of a badass when it's not, but it's kind of a badass when it's non-people thing. Alright, we'll go home. Perfect. Ravy's getting up there. Okay. Now we can rest. Nobody's got anything in pollen. Talk to you. Tired. Slept in 2 days. Better an energy drink. Ever tried Calorie Mate before? I sure have. Yep. You should mask. Okay. All of that. Okay. Brunch time. Man, I'm gonna have to cut out, like, all of these attempts. Okay. Biology. Food. Let's go. God damn it. One away from that bravery. Calorie mate's not great culinary, but it's not the worst. Bant away out of here. First. Ooh. Well, we can do that. Finally. Yes, harvest them. Absolutely. Oh my god. Why did that not give us food? God damn it, game. Try to catch it. Or... I know, Kia, I know. come back to you. Ooh. Hmm. Yes. I need to do one biology. Oh no! I wasted a rest again. Fuck. We're gonna stop in 15 minutes. How are we doing? Not great. I screwed up. I screwed up. Oh well. Nothing I can do about it now. I didn't give her a birthday present. Alright, we're gonna try this. Xenobiology. Full. Find the on switch. Random. Work. Nope. Goodbye. Mental note. Leave before we're fully out of energy, because we're going to need a research in xenobiology. mushrooms. Then food. It was back over here somewhere, wasn't it? I remember seeing it. Yes. Okay, further analysis is needed. We gotta go back. Okay, you've been studying the sponge cake you found out in the Valley of Vertigo. It's oddly squishy, trampoline-y ground. You suspect it's a type of fungus. The analysis bench tells you it's edible starch. Once dried and processed with a maturing agent, it'd make a wonderful flour. Multiplies quickly. Seeing how it stops anything else from growing near it. Ask permission from your mom. You show her your research. I know, your real ship off the old block. Place for it. You plant the sponge cape in a special field, quarantine on the other side of the geoponics dome from the rest of the crops. By the end of the month, you can already tell that it's taken root and will start producing viable food soon. You get your first harvest during pollen, when the sponge swells up at its sweetest. Yes! Many of the earth crops grow through dust and need to be harvested before wet. That means your colony has more food available year-round. That might be enough. You're surprised when you wake up in the morning and your mom and dad are both still in your quarters. Usually they're gone long before sunrise. You pull back the curtain and they look over you with big smiles. Solane, your mom says, cradling a mug of bluff tea in her hands. Dad rubs her feet. Good morning. Good morning. Someone didn't hear the good news. Your mom replies cheekily. We're announcing it later today, but guess what, kiddo? I think we're gonna be okay. Fuck yes. Oh man, I'm gonna have to do so much editing and cut all that out. She chuckles at your sleepy, confused look. The famine, she explains. We still need to do the work, but we pulled out of it. We got out of the spiral. We're gonna be okay. Between farming and foraging, we've secured enough food to make it through until the next harvest year. Your mom salutes you with her blep tea. She looks more relaxed than you've seen her for a year, at least. Maybe since before you landed on Vertumna. You know it could have been much worse. Push those dream memories from your mind. Your dad sighs happily. I'm looking forward to dinner. I haven't really cooked in ages. What should we have, Solane? Mom should choose. That's right. It was her hard work that saved the colony. Roasted vegetables, peppers, onions, corn. It's sweet, a little spicy, and so delicious. You and your parents cook a private meal in your kitchenette. Your dad does most of the work, but you help. When you sit down for quiet family dinner, you realize the first time you've done this and you can't remember how long. You talk about your day the most mundane way possible. So pleasantly normal. You don't even have to you don't even get close to clearing your plate, since your body isn't used to so much food, but that's okay. You eat slowly and savor. Every bite is heaven, and made even better knowing that you have a real impact on the colony's future. Oh, man. We did it. We did it. We did it. All right. We have 3 minutes left. We are not going to make it to the other thing that we need to see. I remembered her birthday. Okay. Dare they? Yeah, we've done this one before. Always here to listen, buddy. Okay. Oh. I'm probably going to stream again tomorrow. We'll see. I hope you all have a wonderful evening. If you are watching live and are not going to bed, please stick around and we will raid someone rad. If you are watching an archive, I apologize for the length of this file. And other than that, be safe and be kind to one another. Bye-bye!